are what help keep his message alive, but they are not the message itself. They are not the reason why all day. But let's not forget, this is simply the method we're choosing to help express our emotions if we don't act on the message of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. It is narrated from Salama that one day the Holy Prophet was sleeping in her house, and along came Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, who was a child of no more than 5 years. She says she sat at the door of his room to prevent Imam al-Hussein from entering from fear that he would disturb the sleep of the Holy Prophet. But then she says she was somehow distracted, and the next thing she knew was Imam al-Hussein had entered the room and he had sat on top of the Holy Prophet's stomach. This is where I want everyone to pay attention. Why do we cry for Imam al-Hussein? And who started this tradition? Salama then says, this is when she heard the Holy Prophet's wailing. She did not say she heard or saw the Holy Prophet's eyes tearing up or even crying. The exact words she used were, فَسَمِعْتُ نَحِيبَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. For anyone who questions where we came up with crying for Imam al-Hussein and calling it falsehoods or bid'ah, why so much sadness? Why all the black? Why all the crying? Why all this nahib? If they're falsehoods, how come the Holy Prophet was the first to start this tradition? Most Muslims haven't read and obviously don't know their own traditions. Did you know that some Muslims take the 10th of Moharrum as a day of happiness and joy and celebrations? Salama then quickly attended to the Holy Prophet and asked him what's wrong. He told her, when Hussein sat on my stomach, the angel Jibreel alayhi salam came to me and asked me, do you love him? Meaning, do you love Imam al-Hussein? He said, yes, of course I do. He told him, Inna ummataka sataqtuluh. Your people, the Islamic nation, will kill him. And then he showed him the sacred sand he will be killed upon. This is an indication that everything associated with Imam al-Hussein and Karbala has a sacred and special significance that has been established by God and not invented by us, the followers of Imam al-Hussein. These are our narrations. This is in our history books. This is our heritage. So I ask, why do some Muslims try to hide it? Going back to our story, Jibreel alayhi salam, while crying, he flapped his wings and asked the Holy Prophet, and gave the Holy Prophet sand. Salama narrates, the Holy Prophet then showed her the red sand he was holding in his holy hand. My dear brothers and sisters, the day of Karbala is not like any other day. Min ayyam Allah al-kubra, a day of great significance, the day that the dear household of the Prophet was humiliated. Yawm Karbala adalla azizana. Who else in history was ever mourned by the holiest of all prophets before his death and in that tragic manner other than Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam? As followers of the sunnah of the Holy Prophet, let us follow in his footsteps. Did he not cry and show great sadness and sorrow when it was revealed to him what would happen to his beloved grandson? Now, one might think that because Imam al-Hussein and his companions were killed in Karbala, this means that they were defeated. Imam al-Hussein was victorious, yet he was martyred. So then you ask, but how? Victory does not mean that one leaves the battlefield untouched, or that one's enemy was killed. Victory means that man progressed along the path of his ultimate goal and did not allow his enemy or his enemies to reach their goal. By the tens of millions, people mourn Imam al-Hussein and visit his holy grave year after year, 1400 years after he was killed. If that's not a victory, and if this is not God's will, I don't know what is. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam gave the best of everything he had, in complete sincerity to God. And that is perhaps why God rewarded Imam al-Hussein by making the number of those visiting his grave greater than those visiting God's house, Al-Kaaba. This is a lesson for us all. When we give, we should give from our hearts, and for the sake of Allah, for the sake of God, fi sabilillah, and with a pure niyyah. Let's purify our intentions. Not so they write my name on the wall, or so that I'm given a plaque, or to impress people. It's not always easy. And I know everyone here is above that, but the shaitan is there, and is always ready to try and poison our intentions. I encourage you and myself to sacrifice a few hours during these days, and let us be counted upon the servants of Imam al-Hussein, and do our part in remembering, and more importantly, by doing, by helping keep Imam al-Hussein's message alive, each in his and her own way. These were the main points I wanted to cover tonight. Tomorrow's lecture will address a rather important topic, and one which has intrigued many philosophers, and one that really affects each and every one of us and our lives. And that's a discussion concerning predestination and free will. We will be answering questions such as, are our actions predestined by God, or do we have free will in the choices that we make? Or has God predestined or predetermined what our future is? There are many schools of thought that have expressed their opinions in this matter and have reached different conclusions. And we will also see how this topic specifically relates to the tragedy of Karbala. I ask God that He may grant us the privilege to be counted as servants to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and for his shafa'ah, his intercession in the hereafter, the akhirah. May God hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam. هذا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Ya Allah.